Why does Barry Allen like watching science documentaries?
No idea.
He finds them flashinating. Happy Sunday and welcome to the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube. You have found Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, and it's fantastic to have you here on tonight's show. Thanks for joining us. I start out by welcoming, on behalf of Tim the Comic Collector, who's not with us tonight, I start by welcoming Signature King Tony Fett. How are you?
A soggy day in Central PA, but
Yeah?
it's all right. We had some fun this weekend.
Nice. And do you have a football update for us?
Yeah, going into halftime, looks like the Lions are up 24-7. So hang in there, Detroit.
Yeah. They might make it to that all-important Hooper game.
Yes, a big sports ball championship.
Yeah. The one that you can't say because you don't want, because it's copyrighted.
Yeah, so it's sports ball.
I call it the Hooper game.
Hooper game is also
I call it
acceptable.
the Hooper game. So
Yep.
Yeah. Good thing we didn't have Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe tonight. She'd be having none of the show tonight.
Yeah, she'd be so
watching
distracted.
Football. Yeah.
She'd be reading it and then like checking it out every 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So how was your week? Pick up any comics or hunt for any comics? Or I know you had a very successful video this week.
Very successful video, but I did pick up a book that I'll show you later.
That's going to be a book show?
You guys guess what this is. Not one, not two.
Oh, I know what it is.
Three.
I think I'm the one who tipped you off on where to find this.
You did.
We'll talk about that later.
Which led to this purchase. So there's 4 total.
Yeah. I tipped you off on 3 of the 4.
But I will tease it. With this.
That's a tease.
This is a tease. This is the real deal that I've had for a while.
So it's not just multiple copies of that, but it's a tease.
No. Kind of, but not really at the same time. Kind of, but not really.
I know what it is because I'm the one who sent you the link. So
yeah, I was super excited, and we were chatting back and forth via Instagram. We worked out in my opinion, a very favorable deal.
Nice.
And it worked out. And I got free shipping, so.
Free shipping.
And I didn't have to worry about a firm or.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, check out my channel for that video.
I saw it and I had to rip off that Band-Aid one more time.
Yeah, that was bad.
I'm glad the dust is starting to settle on that.
Here, I'll tell you one thing that I didn't say in the video that I quite honestly just forgot to say. But for those that don't know, you watch my Meanwhile Volume 3 video, which is my most recent full-length video on my channel, and I'm talking about this bad experience I had with the Shop app and Affirm. And here's one thing that I didn't say just because I forgot to say it. After everything got resolved, and remember, I was the one who had to do 100% of the work to get this resolved while being threatened at the same time. Threatening my credit, that is. When it gets resolved, Affirm had the nerve to send me an email saying, "Oh, we're so delighted to tell you that we were able to resolve your issue." And I hit reply, and I'm like, "How dare you?
Oh,
you didn't do
replied,
anything.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything to help me out. And now you're trying to take credit for the work that I did that you guys should have done." I'm like,
That's terrible, man.
Yeah, not good. Let's say hello to Mr. Paul S. first in the chat. Well, I'm doing good. What about you, Tony?
Any day above ground is good.
Well, that's good.
So speaking of ground, real interesting thing that happened this week. We're on our way back from our little vacation we took to a big indoor water park. Took the kids, had a great time. We're on our way back, and a sewer line in my yard breaks. The one that connects my house to the city breaks. So now I've got a sewage problem in my front yard.
Not good.
Yeah. And so this weekend they came out and dug a huge trench in my yard. They tore up my yard. Looks like a World War I battlefield. but got the issue resolved. It wasn't even a problem, like for just a few hours, and they fixed it. So very happy. Looks like my homeowner's insurance is kicking in a bunch of money, so excited. It's that's my
sorry
ground
that
story.
happened.
Yeah, it's home ownership, but
yeah.
What do you do?
So today is I went to a comic book show.
Yeah, what was the name of the show?
I think it was the Comic Verse Toy and Collectibles Show. I've gone to this before.
Is that local to you?
I had to travel about 40 minutes. They have it at different locations in Wisconsin, but the location I went to, which I've gone to before, was about 40 minutes each way. So it wasn't too bad.
No.
That's at the Comic Verse, both shows. I went to one in Madison, and then I went to one in the town that I went to today. At the Comic Verse show, that's where I met my first community member. So, speaking of community members, look who's popped in to say hello. Comic Food 2814, how are you?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing good. So I was just saying that I went to a comic show today, and I saw, it's funny how you see particular things or particular books might stand out when you're going through a box. I saw so many first issue specials today at this comic show. I did not see any Lady Cop, but I did see several Dingbats of Danger Street and Atlas. I saw a lot of those, but did not end up buying any. So, yeah. So, Comic Fu, how was your week? We're just checking in with everyone, seeing how everyone's doing.
Good. It was real good. Sorry I had to bail on everybody early last week. Had a bit of a family thing come up. So, but I brought my book show from last week for this week, so you'll still get to see the books.
Okay, cool. I'll say hello to Seeking Superman, who has joined us. Great to have you here.
How's it going?
Yeah. So I don't think, Tony, there's a whole lot of DC news that I didn't seem to see a whole lot. What about you?
There's a few teaser articles. I can never say her name. Zoe Saldana, the lady who played Gamora, is in talks with Warner Brothers for a role. Doesn't say, it might not even be a James Gunn movie, it just says a role. So honestly, it could be anything. I would imagine it's probably James Gunn role since they work pretty close together. They have a good friendship. DC narrows down the role of Supergirl to 2 actresses.
Is it Helen Slater and
yes,
and Melissa Benoist?
That would be nice. Honestly, I'd prefer Melissa over the 2 that we have.
I like Melissa Benoist.
Yeah, she was good. So
her name is very similar to Moist, which bothers people.
That's true. So we have let's see, where is it? Emma Jones. And I'll share my screen so we know who that is. Okay. Let's see, Emma Jones right here. So this is who one of their finals are, and let's see if I can bring up the other one. Oh no, it's gonna make me stop sharing. Okay, hold on. And then the other one is from the new House of Dragons, Millie Alec. I'm not sure how to say her name.
You know who she looks like?
Who?
Leanne Rimes.
Yeah, you're right. She does look like Leanne Rimes. So those are our 2 potential Supergirls. They're gonna have it down to 2.
Yeah, she's from House of the Dragon. Okay.
What do you think, Mr. Fu? What are your thoughts? If you had to cast one, who would it be?
Well, I don't know. I don't know any of the new actresses anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either. The brunette, Emma, she is 21 years old, and Millie, the blonde, is 23. The blonde is 5'5", the brunette is 5'7". I don't know if that helps make a decision.
Who's the brunette?
Emma Jones.
I don't know her.
I don't know them either.
I don't know. She worked with she's been on Lock and Key, Incident in a Ghostland, Brimstone, What We Did on Our Holiday. A lot of those, I've never heard of any of those movies. So
yeah, I've never seen her before.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly, if it was up to me, I'd pass on both of them.
Yeah.
I'd roll the dice.
Neither one looked like Supergirl to me, but
no.
They're not going to stick with the one from The Flash?
No, they said they were going to, but I guess it was affiliated with Zack Snyder's verse, and they wanted to get rid of absolutely everything related to Zack, so
yeah,
she got the axe. It's a shame. I thought she did okay.
Yeah, she did all right. I mean, she didn't really fit the part of Supergirl, but
no, she did not. Not even close. But hey, it's an alternate reality, I guess. Whatever works.
Yeah. So I know I bring this up frequently, and it's just I haven't brought it up this year, but have either one of you ever watched the 1984 Helen Slater Supergirl theatrical movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You both have. Okay, awesome.
Oh yeah, I used to watch it all the time as a kid.
No demerits for either one of you.
I really enjoy the old Swamp Thing movies. I think those are
with Adrian Barbeau.
Yeah.
Tatas.
Yeah, they were the coolest.
Oh, the Tatas were the coolest.
Yeah, the Tatas were the coolest.
Hey, Tony, how you doing? Thanks for stopping in.
Hey.
Oh, he's Seeking Superman. Saw the Supergirl movie back in the theaters. That's cool. And then for Fu, we have a little message here.
How much to get them signed by me? I'll sign them for free.
But I'd be worried of sending them to you because you would hold on to them because you're trying to hoard them all.
Yes, it's true.
So Paul, my question for you is, when you watch on the rewind, my question for you is, how many copies of Top Dog do you have?
Oh.
Top Dog.
Foofer is the top dog. We all know that.
I like the fact that you're hoarding them, but you're slowly starting to affect the market value for them. Ever so slowly.
Slowly, yeah. I didn't see any Foofers today.
Because he's got them all.
Because he has them all. Yeah, that's probably true.
I did finally see Aquaman.
Oh,
have you seen it yet, Tony?
I have not.
Thoughts?
No? I didn't really like it. It just I saw what you meant. It was just all action, right? And I don't know. It was it didn't feel like there was much of a story there. They were just constantly being rushed from one thing into another. And I did think the redemption arc was kind of cool, but yeah. It just in the end, even the big baddie, it was just okay.
Didn't you think for a while that Aquaman was a single father?
Yeah. Yes. I know what you mean.
She's in that little of the film.
Yeah, she really is. Yeah. And she didn't have much of a part to play in it either. Yeah. There wasn't much of a purpose for her to be there.
Mm-hmm. And that's a shame because Aquaman and Mira, it's like Batman and Robin. You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
That's what you get when you poop.
You know what was really weak, though, besides the CGI? It was the dialogue. The dialogue was really bad. They had to... It was doing that thing, where they have to, explain everything by, talking it out, and it was just really? Come on.
Yeah.
And I didn't care for the jokes either. I didn't like the movie.
So that's a pass.
That's a pass.
Huh.
You should go watch it, Tony.
I'm gonna love it.
Probably.
I'm gonna love it. I love everything DC. I really do, except Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey was hot garbage.
That was bad.
Hot garbage. Why would you waste?
Harley wasn't in it enough.
What do you mean? There was more Harley Quinn than Birds of Prey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was. But you got an awesome opening breakfast sandwich scene.
Listen. Don't even get me started. What a waste of I'm glad I saw it on a streaming service because I would have just come out of that theater swinging. People charging me money to see that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What a waste.
Oh yeah, and check it out. I got my Metropolis shirt.
Oh yeah,
you've been there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did you tell them that we want to come there and do a show from there?
I did not. It was late when I was driving through.
Oh, so you didn't go to the museum. You just went through the city.
I mean, I've been there before.
Oh, is it cool?
Well, the museum was closed when I went, so I only got to see the shop in the front, which was very cool. I think they've redone the museum since then, so I need to make it back. But I saw the big statue, and
Did you see the Lois Lane statue? Because there's supposed to be one not far from the main Superman statue, and it's supposed to be based on actress Noel Neal's Lois Lane.
Not when I was there, but it's been a few years. Like I said, this time I was just driving through late at night. But I did. I thought it was funny at the restrooms. They've got Superman like with delivering the TP under his arm.
Yeah, Glenn, you need to be there. We all want to go there. Yeah. We really want to do a show from there, right outside the Superman statue.
Oh man, that would be the coolest.
We'd love to do that.
That would be the coolest. Yeah. I thought about when I was making my road trip across America. I thought about stopping, but it came down to if I stopped, I had to skip Nashville, and I heard Foo makes some really good food in the kitchen. So
yeah, he puts the Foo in food.
Yes, it's true.
And how can I say no to an opportunity to see Foo's cave?
And the food.
Yeah, you're I think the only one that's seen it.
It is like the Taj Mahal of comic book caves. Really, it is. The videos don't do it any justice at all. You could probably fit 10 of my rooms into his. That's how big it is. It is phenomenal.
Well, it's impressive when the food trooper has its own dressing room.
Yep, there you go.
You could easily partition your room into like 3 smaller bedrooms if you had to.
Oh yeah. But then what would I do with all the toys?
Oh, they each get their own room. Like, okay,
they each get their own room.
Yeah, right. Star Wars, Marvel, DC.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I need one just for Green Lantern. So.
Yeah, well, obviously, it gets the one without the window.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it doesn't.
So that will be in Blackest Night.
Yeah.
Right.
That would be too funny.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I see that Wonder Woman 5 is getting a second printing. It's not very often that issue 5 from a series will get a second printing, but it is getting a second printing.
DC needs to stop doing that.
Yeah, I will say that, a lot of people are kind of into this Tom King run on Wonder Woman. And issue 5, while it didn't advance the overall plot very much, was still an enjoyable issue. And I'm not going to say who, but it brought back a Wonder Woman foe that hasn't been seen in 20 years.
20 years?
Yeah. One of a main adversary in the past for Wonder Woman that hasn't been seen in 20 years was back in issue 5. So
I'm trying to think who that might be.
Well, we can talk after the show.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. And FOC on that is tonight. So if that's something you're interested in the second printing, you might want to contact your comic store like 5 hours ago.
Because it ties into today's story. You could run like the Flash back in time. And no, that would have some kind of consequence if I ran back into time and ordered that book.
Yeah, you'd be getting the third print.
Yeah. I'd be getting a third print, and someone of my family doesn't exist anymore, and somehow I never met my wife.
A logo foil would be in there somehow.
Right.
And you were romantically linked somehow to Cher.
Yeah, right. I'm married to Cher for some reason.
Yeah.
Who's older than my mom, I think.
Never heard of Sonny and Cher. It was always Tony and Cher.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's not the Berenstain Bears. It's the Bloodstained Bears.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. Any other news going on?
That's it. Just small amounts of news.
Okay. Well, as we start to segue into the retro review, this was my pick tonight, and when I first was asked to join Fanboys Live in the Retro Review, I started thinking about what stories would I want to do. And this was always like at the top of my list because this is my favorite Flash story ever. Oh, look at that. Look what happened.
Yeah, right.
Comics would lose their signatures.
Yeah.
You're right. That's the time paradox. We all pay a heavy price. Yeah, I'm married to Cher, and I'm going to inherit all her money, but I lose all my comic signatures. Not worth it, man. Not worth
it. Your new moniker is Cher King.
The Cher King.
Oh.
The Cher King.
Yeah. So this
but you still dress up as Harley on the weekends.
Of course. With Cher's money, you got Bob Mackie designing the outfits. I mean, that's going to be primo.
There you go.
So this Flash story tonight is my favorite Flash story of all time. Had either one of you read this arc before?
I have not.
No.
Okay. So brings back a lot of memories. I think Fu would I always thought he'll like this because there's some Green Lantern in every issue.
Yeah.
One way or another. So
yeah, in fact, your issue is I actually keep that part of my Green Lantern collection.
Oh, you do? Yeah,
cover.
he's on the cover. Yeah, but although he's in all three of them in some way. Yeah. So we'll kind of get started. We're doing Flash Volume 1, issue 275, 276, and 277, better known as The Death of Iris West. So look at this cover. What do you guys think of this cover? Yeah, spoiler.
It's a very nice cover.
Yeah.
I enjoy it a lot.
I remember thinking, why is he dancing with Batgirl?
Right?
You know? But that kind of gets explained. So, Fu, if you want to kick us off. Oh, one thing I should say before you get started, just to fill you in a little bit on what had happened previously in the Flash that kind of affects this story. Flash had been stalked by a teenager with some type of abilities where she can kind of control people. Her name's Melanie, and she's essentially stalking the Flash because she thinks that he's hot potatoes. So that kind of plays into especially the first part of this story. But take it away, Fu.
All right. So we start off with the Flash trying to make it home for his date with his wife Iris West. But once again, this teenage girl with these ESP powers is pulling him to her, leaving Iris West home alone at home with this stalker kind of lurking outside her window. So we've got the last dance. All right, so Iris is upset that Barry is not home for their dinner. And so she just makes a decision that she had put a tracking device in each of his ring suits. And so she decides that for the first time, she's going to use it to check on his whereabouts. He's been coming home late a lot, and she knows it's wrong, but she just has to know: is he actually working, or is he having an affair, basically?
Yeah, is he stirring the spaghetti sauce?
Exactly. So, meanwhile, this stalker is still looking outside her window, kind of following her. Flash, meanwhile, makes it to his final destination at the Motor Manor. It's this motel on the outskirts of town. And he gets there, and this teenage girl is waiting there on the bed with her Flash poster. And she's impressed that this time he came through the door and didn't come smashing through the wall, I guess, the hard way, like he did last time. Yeah, this is really weird. So he's like, what do you want from me? And she's like, be patient. I just want to check you out. And she's like, yeah, very impressive body. Ideal for super speeding, slim but sinewy. Not grotesquely muscle bound like some other superheroes. She's really kind of checking him out, and he's just kind of frozen in place, like he can't do anything to stop this. And but the ultimate question is, she wants to know what he looks like under his mask. And so she is just kind of obsessed with knowing, and she forces Barry to reveal himself and pull the mask off. And as soon as he does, she lets it be known that she's very disappointed. It's not that he's ugly, it's not that he's super good looking. She says he's just extremely ordinary looking. And with that, she takes off. She's had it. That one look at Barry, and she's like, yeah, I'm not interested anymore. And he's left standing there like, what?
But look what she says on that panel there with the green background. 6 months ago, it was John Travolta. Now you.
Exactly. So, I don't know, kind of a weird way to start a Flash comic, but This girl jumps on her little moped and drives off just as Iris West pulls up and sees this girl leaving. And she thinks to herself, oh gosh, I hope that's not the room that I'm being led to right now. But sure enough, it is. And she finds Barry inside. He's in there looking at the mirror like, ordinary? What's that supposed to mean? She takes one look at him, though, and she thinks she knows what has happened here, and she goes running off crying.
Spaghetti sauce stirring.
Yes. So the Flash goes racing after her, but she is so upset. She just barrels into traffic, barely misses this yellow car up here. But you can see there's this truck coming down the highway, and she kind of careens into it here. And the Flash realizes that at the force she's going to go right through the windshield. And sure enough, he's right. But he's able to grab a hold of her in time and vibrate her through the car to safety. Then he rushes in to save the truck driver as the truck explodes. So everyone's safe. And immediately she forgets, all of the previous events. She's like, oh, don't tell me any details. I'm sorry, And Barry's like, no, really, hold on. You need to listen to me. You need the details. Like, nothing happened between us. This girl just basically used ESP powers, and she thinks I'm ordinary. Do I look ordinary to you? And, and of course she's like, don't worry about it, sweetheart. You'll always be extraordinary to me. I was so foolish to ever doubt you, Barry Allen. So the first part of this story is over. It's kind of silly and pointless, but oh well. Meanwhile, we get this guy talking on the phone who's talking about going after the Flash. And I guess that accident was meant to happen, but the Flash screwed up their plans, basically. So they're telling them to follow Barry Allen. Because I guess Allen was their target. Yeah, it wasn't very clear what was going on there. But meanwhile, Flash takes Iris home, and they have a quick discussion on they decide to have a baby. And so they're very excited by this. And but before they can get to stirring the spaghetti sauce, Iris sees that a package has arrived. It's her costume for the ball. And of course, she was going as Batgirl, but the Batman costume was already rented. So Barry does not have a costume. Well, I'm sure you can guess who he goes as. He decides he'll go as the Flash. But as he's taking his cowl off again, this weird stalker guy outside was watching through the window and now realizes that Barry Allen is the Flash. And we learn a little bit more about this guy, a figure filled with painful memories of the penitentiary and the nightmarish Nephron Project, a project designed to make a new man out of Clive Yorkin to cure him of his criminality. Of Gilbert Nephron, the scientist that subjected Yorkin's brain and body to agonizing jolts of electrical energy. And Barry Allen, the man who stood by and let it go on and on until it was too late. So we learned that this guy that's been stalking Iris is actually, he was tortured at this hospital, and I guess Barry stood by and let it happen. I don't know. But he's interrupted from, his plans by this car coming. Meanwhile, Barry and Iris are getting ready for this costume party, and the car that showed up was one of their friends, and he shows up dressed as the Flash too. So now we've got two Flashes and a Batgirl going to this party together. And it's at the Whitlock Mansion. And he says, am I thirsty? I hope they're serving my kind of drinks. But Flash says, you're out of luck, Frank, unless you like celery punch. Alfred Whitlock is a well-known health freak. So they get to this mansion, and they get out of the car. And as they do, you can see this stalker guy has hid out in the trunk of the car. He has followed them. So we get in here, and this is the scene we saw at the on the front cover, We've got all of their friends there dressed up as superheroes and villains, and and then Barry, who actually is the Flash, right? And he even mentions he's like, it's kind of weird seeing them all here like this, like my enemies and all, and yet everybody's being friendly with each other. So he even shakes hands with Captain Cold, right? And he goes to start dancing with Iris, and he gets a page over the intercom for Barry Allen. And he's like, I wonder who that could be. And so he's, sorry, honey, guess you'll have to sit the rest of this one out, the dance that is, right? But who shows up to save the day? No, none other than Green Lantern. So Barry goes to the phone. Here it's his chief, his boss, who's telling him that he wants him there at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And he's like, okay, but aren't you coming to the costume party? And his boss is like, no, I've always hated those things. Dressing up is silly. So again, this is just more antics at the costume party there. You can see Sandman pulling a gun on Black Canary and what is that, Mirror Man?
Mirror Master.
Mirror Master, thank you. Okay, so meanwhile, his friend, who's also dressed up as Flash, goes outside for a smoke, and he's attacked by that stalker. And he pulls his cowl off, and he realizes it's not Barry Allen. But just for good measure, he throws him over the balcony anyway. So back inside, Barry goes for some of that celery punch. Thank you, Supergirl. And he comes up and he finds this Green Lantern is getting very handsy with Iris. And he's all set to go up upset with him when he hears his voice, and he realizes it's not just any old guy dressed up as Green Lantern. It's actually Hal Jordan. So I don't know why that made it better for him, but it did. And once he realized it was Hal putting his hands all over his girl, he's like, oh, okay. So they tell Hal about their decision to become parents. And Hal's like, hey, you guys are going to make great parents. And then he says, I got to go. And he goes flying out the window. And everybody's like, wow, that is some kind of suit. How did he do that? I don't even see any wires. So they don't even realize it's the real Green Lantern. All right, so they clink their celery punch together, celebrating their decision to have a baby, and they decide that they need some alone time. So they're going to go upstairs on a private tour of the second floor.
Yeah, I think they're going to stir the spaghetti sauce.
I think so. But as Barry begins to climb the stairs, his head starts getting dizzy. And Iris, worried about him, says, I'm going to go get you a glass of water. There must have been something in that punch is what he's thinking. But he sees Iris running off, and she's just fine. But he starts hearing a crash and loud noises. And then he hears Iris scream. So he runs in there. She's calling for help. And he finds this stalker has done something to her. She's lying on the floor. And Barry's like, what have you done to my wife? And he instantly recognizes him, though, as Yorkin. So this guy jumps out the window, leaving Barry with Iris on the floor there. The other guests show up and arrive, and he's trying to take her to the hospital with his super speed. But again, this dizziness comes back over him, and he just collapses. The partygoers come to their aid. He says, got to get one of them to a hospital right away, but I'm afraid the other one is dead.
Dun, dun, dun.
So wonder which one it is.
Freak out. Yeah. I don't know. If only we didn't have a spoiler.
Yeah, right.
I'll say hello to some friends that have joined us. Kenneth Bird is here. Great to have you here. And another friend with us is Warlord. So thanks for stopping by. This is the story I'm going to cover, 276. What do you guys think about this cover? I love this cover.
The drop kick on the Green Lantern, yeah.
I guess he's finally had second thoughts about Hal putting his hands on Iris.
Yes, he has, yeah. Smart to attack him with them boots, though, you know? Yeah. So, I actually remember seeing this cover for the first time. I can still remember seeing this cover for the first time and like, yep, getting that book, no doubt about it. So,
Yeah, I like when they used to draw a flash in action with like the different, like the kind of like faded colors like that.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So as we get started with the second part of our story after this O.J. Simpson.
Oh, geez.
So we essentially pick up right where we left off with 275. And Barry's police friend is there. He's like, I'm a cop. What's wrong? And they're like, get an ambulance. One of them is critical. Pulse is very low. The other one, I'm afraid, is dead. And Barry's hearing this and he's like, oh, they think I'm dead because I'm not moving, but I'm alive and I got to show them that I'm alive. So he slowly starts to creep up a little bit and gets Iris off of top of him. And he's like, the crowd is realizing whoever did this must have escaped throughout the window. And they're shocked that he's actually moving. So he gets up and his police friend is like, Barry, stop. What are you doing? He's like, I got to stop him for what he did to Iris. And he essentially just falls right out of the window and lands on the ground. They're like, just stay right there. We're coming down to get you. And when they get down there, he's nowhere to be found. And they're like, but he's in no condition to go anyplace, So we find out he is taken off as the Flash, and he's got the Speed Force working with him. He catches up to Yorkin. Yorkin has spotted him and starts running even faster. He tells Yorkin, there's no use for this. I'm going to get you, and you're going to pay for what you did to Iris. So he finally gets in front of him, grabs a hold of him, and he's going to beat him up. And then all of a sudden, his head starts to feel a little swooshy. And as Yorkin starts to take off, Barry grabs him from behind, knocks him down again. Yorkin, elbows him back. And they start fighting. And Flash even says, I'm going to beat you within an inch of your life. So we go through a few more pages of ads. And then he says, you hurt Iris and you hurt her bad. Because of you, she's on her way to a hospital. Because of you, she may never be the same again. I hate you, Yorkin. I hate you, hate you, hate you. And he keeps punching him right in the face until Yorkin essentially is just disfigured. And Barry's hearing another voice at this time. And he's like, what did you say? And the voice is saying, the patient is obviously hallucinating. Yes, doctor. And he's like, who is this talking? And then this ringing fills his ears to be replaced by a deafening roar. And he's like, what's going on? Where? And then it's black for a second. And then he hears there. That ought to do it. And there's Barry Allen. And he's tied up inside of a hospital with the railings up. And he's starting to get his bearings, realizing where he's at. But nothing really makes sense to him. And he's like, I'm in bed tied down, but how did I get here? And these are hospital orderlies. This is a hospital of some kind. So he starts yelling at the nurses and the orderlies. And they're like, hey, people are trying to rest here. He's like, Iris must be around here someplace. Let me up. I want to get up. And they're like, uh-oh, the new patient thinks it's time to go up for a stroll. Hold on there, Mr. Allen. And they're like, stay put, you're in no shape. And he's like, where's Iris? I just want to see Iris. And all of a sudden they're like, how did he get out of those restraints? They don't know he has the powers. And he wants to know where his clothes is. He's realizing his head hurts. And he's like, they don't understand. Iris is my wife. I want to make sure she's all right. And they're like, Iris is just fine, but you got to take it easy. Page the nurse on the double. And he starts getting a little bit violent. And he, punches one of the orderlies. And they say, there's two ways we can do this, the easy way or the hard way. And the nurse walks in with hypodermic needle. And the nurse is like, hey, what you've been through the past 48 hours, she's saying the orderlies, if you've been through what he's been through in the past 48 hours, you'd be in a difficult place too. So 2 days have passed since what we first saw with Yorkin and Iris. So she puts him, injects the shot. He essentially passes out with his tranquilizer. And he's kind of back in dreamland again. And what we're seeing is really a recap of what kind of happened in last issue. How Melanie had brought him to this hotel. She's the girl with the ESP powers, and then complained that he was ordinary and how disappointed she was that he's ordinary. How Iris and him have decided that they're going to have a baby. How Barry felt that he had been drugged, and she's like, I'll go get you some water. And, him discovering that Yorkin had done something to Iris. So essentially recapping last issue. So then as we get through some Hostess ads and some other DC in-house ads, we see a nurse has got Barry in a wheelchair taking him for a walk outside. So obviously a little bit more time has passed. And he's like, you got a visitor. I think it's someone you're going to be glad to see. And he's like, Iris? And they're like, no, it's your colleague from the department, Detective Curtis. Isn't that a nice surprise? And he's like, Barry, it's great to see you again. He's like, you're looking really good. I spoke to the doctor and they think you might be well enough to go home today, but he says, I insisted they let me be the ones to share the good news. And he's like, well, I'm glad someone's finally talking to me. It's been 5 days now and they won't let me see Iris, but they get a strange look when I talk about Yorkin. He's like, Yorkin? He's like, yeah, I was so worked up over what he did to Iris that I beat his face to a pulp. I must have killed him. I'm a murderer now. What are people going to think of me? He didn't really deserve to die. He was a victim of the Nephron Project. And as a matter of fact, Dr. Nephron himself over there is mentally a vegetable since Yorkin turned the tables on him by hooking him up to his own diabolical machine. What a mess. And they're like, Barry, your Yorkin story doesn't mesh with the facts. They're like, when we found you 20 feet away from where you fell in the bushes, you were out cold. No sign of any other body outside of yours. He's like, are you saying that my fight with Yorkin was all a delusion? That the whole thing took place in my head? And he says, well, that's not all. I'm afraid I'm afraid Iris isn't in this hospital either. And he's like, she's not? You mean they've already sent her home? Why didn't they tell me this? Why hasn't she come to visit me? What's going on, Frank? Help me, No one's telling me anything. He's like, Barry, they didn't tell you this because of your condition was so unstable, but the doctors say you should be able to handle this now, and they thought it would be better if it came from a close friend. He's like, what are you talking about? And he pulls out Iris's wedding ring. And he's like, but she would never part with that unless... Then he says, she never had a chance, Barry. By the time you reached her side, it was too late. Barry, Iris is dead. And he's like, it can't be. I remember the conversation at the party. Someone said one of them needs an ambulance. The other one is dead. And he's like, yes, that's right. You were the one who needed the ambulance. She was the one that was dead. And he's like, oh God, just tell me this is a nightmare. I don't even know what's real anymore. Have I been drugged or am I just going mad? What's going on? So get a few more pages of advertisements. And his Detective Curtis says, well, you've been drugged all right. There's no question about that. You've been given an extra heavy dose of angel dust. Why, or what I haven't been able to figure out is who, when, or how they did this. He's like, but Barry, I'm so sorry. Iris is really dead. And he's like, my mind won't accept it. The ring isn't enough. I need proof beyond the shadow of a doubt. He's like, well, if you want proof, I'll give you proof. And an hour later, they're at the morgue and he sees Iris's body. And he knows it's true. He's like, just take me home, Frank, just take me home. And he's grieving in the car as Detective Curtis starts to drive him home. So then we cut to 22,300 miles above Earth, the JLA satellite. And Superman is saying, there's some members that aren't here, but they're on urgent cases right now. So we'll take care of what we have to talk about. As you probably heard about this tragedy, let's grant Flash a formal leave of absence from the Justice League. Are there any objections? And Green Lantern says, let's cut the formalities. We're talking about Iris, someone we all knew, someone that I loved as a sister. And Batman's like, take it easy, Green Arrow. We're all upset and grief-stricken, but it's up to us to remain calm and in control. Wonder Woman says, Batman's right. The strength and unity of the League must not be compromised by a single misfortune, no matter how heartbreaking that misfortune may be for poor Flash. May Hera help him. Well, unbeknownst to them, Flash appears in the JLA teleporter. And they're shocked to see him. And they said, well, we kind of thought this is the last place you would want to be. And they're like, well, you figured wrong. I'm here on behalf of my wife. I'm here to ask for your help, Superman. I want you to bring Iris back to life. And he's like, well, great Krypton. I may be a Superman, but even with my superpowers, there's limits. Not even the advanced scientists on my home planet of Krypton could have revived the dead. If I could give Iris back to you, I would. And he says, what about you, Wonder Woman? The Amazon science on Paradise Island is way ahead of the rest of the world. There's got to be something you can do. And she says, oh, Flash, if only it were in my power to grant your request, but what you're asking is far beyond my capabilities. Not even the great god Zeus himself would dare to contradict the will of the fates. So then he turns to Green Lantern and says, you're my closest comrade through the years. Won't you help me? If it was Carol who was lying dead in the morgue and I was the one with the power ring, you know I would do it for you. And Green Lantern says, Barry, you don't know what you're asking. And he gets upset, as anyone would be. He says, don't give me that garbage. You know, I've seen what your ring can do. You can turn a mountain inside out. You can, you know, you could make an insect the size of a dinosaur. Why can't it make Iris open her eyes and breathe again? They're like, and he starts begging him. And Green Lantern talks about, you know, you're talking about something different, the power over life and death, and that's something that we don't even have a right to control. And that just makes Flash so mad. He's like, I'm your friend, but he's like, no, you're no friend. You never were, and I see that now. And they're like, Flash, what's gotten into you? And they talk about he's got this look in his eyes, and he takes Green Lantern and shoves him against the other members of the Justice League. He's like, I'm sick of you. I'm sick of this place. And they realize that he's starting to go bonkers. And he's doing some damage already to some monitor panels, and he declares that he's going to rip the satellite apart. And so Superman is going to go and stop a problem that they've already had with the satellite about to fall out of orbit, while the other Justice Leaguers try to subdue, capture, calm the Flash down. So on the next page, we get a great scene with Wonder Woman and Green Lantern attacking. Anytime that Wonder Woman throws her tiara, I'm a fan of that because you don't see it a whole lot. He just lets it vibrate right through him. And then, like on the cover, Green Lantern goes to use his ring, but Flash stops it with the yellow of his boots, since his power ring is not, you know, the color yellow doesn't work for them. And he ends up knocking Green Lantern down. Superman has got the satellite stabilized again. And Batman says, good, but as you can see, we're not having much luck with the Flash. And they're like, Flash, get a hold of yourself. You're one of us. You're a member of the Justice League. And he says, Justice League? That's a laugh. This whole place is a farce, a lie. I'm going to rip the satellite to shreds, and not one of you is fast enough to stop me. And that's how my issue ends.
All right.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Sean Franklin, who's joined us. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Sean.
Yeah. Let me put mine up here.
Okay.
And now my story makes quite a bit more sense. And I'll explain why. So the Flash fights himself, essentially. So, yeah, we're on the watchtower. And he's, you know, just ripping the place apart, and he's fighting everybody. I thought a cool move that he did here, he's kind of gathered all the League's members up into one spot, and he's running so fast, he's sucking all the oxygen out, which is a neat way to subdue some enemies here. And, you know, panels are ripping off the wall and whatever. And finally, Superman decides that he's going to just kind of end this conflict and give him the old Kryptonian clothesline here, which, you know, subdues him for a second. And then Green Lantern's able to wrap him up, and Wonder Woman kind of tosses her lasso at his feet, and he's the Flash. He's not done yet, so he's able to spin around real fast and drill himself through the hole. But Superman was able to grab him one more time and kind of put him down, and end it for good. But he wakes up in the next morning, and it's not Batman and Superman that are there. It's Clark Kent and Bruce Wayne. And he's like, listen, we're not going to talk about what happened, but we need to go to this funeral. It's for Iris, and it's a cool little panel here. You get to see all the people in their, secret identities and whatnot. We have Kid Flash. We have Elongated Man, Hal Jordan, some detectives from Central City, Iris West's dad. Barry's parents are there for some reason, although it's whatever.
We got Kid Flash too.
Yeah, Kid Flash is there. And, they're trying to walk away and leave the funeral. And then one of Barry's friends come up, and his name is Frank, and he's over here. Frank Curtis. I accidentally almost called him Frank Castle, but that's another universe.
That's the same detective that was in my story.
Yep. Yeah, who knows? Maybe the Flash and the Punisher would be friends if they ever met. Yeah, he kind of introduces them to their secret identities, not the League, and they're talking about Iris West and what to do, how to move forward, and the Flash is considering retiring. Doesn't want to be the Flash anymore. And he's contacted by a reporter, and he's telling her this story. And then the Melanie, right? She was the name of the
girl with the ESP.
ESP, yeah. Because in here it doesn't say she has ESP. My issue, she's just some girl who's just, really lucky, I guess. But yeah, she's kind of going through some things, and the big headlines, the Flash retires. Central City's kind of up in arms, and all of a sudden there's a need that morning, a need for the Flash, and here's where the Flash attacks himself, but it's just Mirror Master and this big mirror, and the Flash runs right through it, and he's able to like get stuck in some kind of slime or whatever, and they're trying to steal the armored car, and it's Mirror Master, and he's on top of this big like device or whatever, and he's able to shoot things. He's trying to shoot the Flash, but he's the Flash, and he can outrun almost everything, and so he's doing this little spinny move on this little flag post here to like dodge these bullets, but the Mirror Master will just like melt the flagpole, and the Flash kind of goes crashing down, and this is the part I had to laugh at. This is like a commercial for a candy bar. And he's like, oh, I seem to have landed on thousands of chocolate bars. Wait a second, that he can hit me with the heat, but this weapon has a caramel center. So he's able to like chuck all these candy bars out the window.
So there goes the inventory for that company.
Yeah, so he essentially just knock him over, you know what I mean? And he's able to subdue Mirror Master,
and the caramel's like gumming up his machine.
Yep, and his machine's coming down, and he takes off his suit and he stuffs it in his ring, and he chucks it right in the trash. But some mystery person is able to pick it up because she, maybe has a inclination that somebody might need it. But we cut to Barry Allen at the police department, and he's like, "Listen, it's Barry Allen. I started here as a homicide detective or lab technician or whatever. But I've been living a lie. Let me start at the beginning. I was hit by lightning chemicals, and the crowd is like, boo, we want the Flash, boo, get off the stage." And he's like, listen, I'm going to tell you. But they're like, shut up, dude. Like, we want the Flash, boo. So he's like, okay, you want the Flash? Let me go just get out of here. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh yeah, I don't have my ring anymore. But our ESP lady's like, bling, here you go, Mr. Allen. Here you go. And he's able to put the ring back on and run through the crowd and telling everyone, hey, the Flash is back, baby. So he retired and came out of retirement in like less than 10 panels.
Right.
And that's the end of 277.
Yeah. He just kind of announces to the crowd that the Flash is here to stay. There's been rumors of my retirement, but the Flash is here to stay.
Yep.
One other thing in Tony's issue too, earlier on, the Justice League are talking amongst themselves. They're like, what if he has another outburst again? They're like, what if he reveals his identity? And then they go, or worse, what if he reveals ours? And I'm like, well, how selfish.
Yeah, right? Jeez.
Your friend is grieving. How selfish.
They're worried about their secret identities.
They are. So let's do out of a 10 scale. What do you guys think of this storyline? Fu, we'll start with you.
I'd probably give it like maybe like a 6 out of 10. Okay. It was okay. I mean, it was a fun read, but I mean, it was kind of silly too in many ways, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the reactions of the characters didn't always quite fit what was happening at the time. So, yeah. And it was kind of anticlimactic, like her death. Like we still didn't really understand why. I guess I don't know.
No, I'll add something to that in a moment. But Tony, what do you think?
I'd agree. Maybe 6 out of 10, maybe 5 out of 10. Not the greatest Flash run out there, but it's interesting to see how the Flash would handle a fight with the Justice League. So I always enjoy those.
Got a 7.3 here in the chat. I'm going to go 9.
Oh.
I'm going 9 out of 10 because I just so much nostalgia. I love seeing Flash fight the other Justice League members. I love seeing Wonder Woman use the tiara. I think it's brilliant that he thought of using his yellow boots to stop Green Lantern.
Oh, jeez, that's right. I forgot about that.
You know, another thing too, he's up there and he wants to, you know, there's Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern up in the satellite. And he only has the need for 3 of them. He knows Batman can't do squat to bring Iris back, so he don't have the time of day for Batman. And I thought that was kind of funny. So I'm going to do 9.
And the funny thing is, Batman would have had the best shot, right? Because he had the, what's the pool?
Lazarus Pit.
Lazarus Pit, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I forgot about that.
So, obviously Barry did not know about that.
Yeah.
So, but I think later on, if I'm not mistaken, they kind of go back to this storyline and they change it a little bit. So Clive Yorkin isn't really the one who killed Iris. Okay. Did I spoil it and tell you who really killed Iris?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
Who else does it have to be? It has to be the Reverse Flash.
Reverse Flash, yeah.
Yeah. They went back and made it that Reverse Flash came in and was behind that door when Iris went in to get in the water. And he's the one that actually killed them and disappeared before Barry could get in. And
how long was it later that they revealed that?
A couple of years. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too long. It was still in the Flash Volume 1. Right? Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it was. So maybe about 20 some issues later, about 2 years-ish. So yeah, I think that's what they ended up doing. But some fun nostalgia there, for sure. So I enjoyed just reading the story again, and I'm thankful that you guys wanted to read it. Jumping back into the chat right now, I have not read this. Have either one of you?
No.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Thoughts on that for Sean?
It's good. I've got a signature on it somewhere.
Oh, nice.
I have that issue 1 signed. I think it was James Tynion that wrote it,
or
at least the first part of it. So I've got his signature on it somewhere.
Nice. Very cool. Let's talk about Book Show and what's going on with the channels. Tony, you want to start?
Yeah, I can start. So
you teased us a little bit before.
I did, and that's gonna the Book Show, and it's gonna all tie in what's coming up on the channel. So we teased Shazam 28. This isn't the Book Show, but just so this is the regular Shazam 28, first Black Adam. You know, I guess in DC continuity. But I was able to, thanks to Mr. Lasso, able to score a Superman Presents Shazam Mexican variant.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So you can see.
I like my foreign edition comics, so
I do too. I really do too. So they're pretty awesome, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And the seller was great enough guy. We were chatting, and he sold me his second one, and his third one.
Nice.
So he has none, and you have all.
I got them all.
You would think it's Foofer.
These are pretty unique because it is the whole complete story of Shazam 28, but it's also a Superman story in there too. So you get like a 2-for-1. So coming up on my channel, I talk about these, and then I also talk about this one that I'm not going to show. Okay. But it's pretty. It's all tied together. So
we can't see it. Turn it around.
No. So here, look. I'll turn it around. It looks just like that, but it's slightly different. So stay tuned for that. That's probably coming out maybe tomorrow. I don't know.
Awesome. Foo, what's going on with you and a book show or a leftover book show?
Yeah, I've got my book show from last week. So we did a DC first issue special, and I had that very ridiculous Metamorpho one. Yep. So for my book show, I was going to show Brave and the Bold number 57.
Oh, nice.
I hate the glare.
Is that the first appearance of Metamorpho?
Yeah, this is the first Metamorpho.
Nice.
I bet that book's going to skyrocket soon because it's in a Superman movie, so it might be worth a little bit of money.
That's true. I hadn't thought of that. And then to go along with that, I've got Metamorpho #1, his first title issue.
Wow.
So both 12-cent Silver Age books.
All right, I'll give you $1 for both of them.
I'll give you 2.
But I do not own the first issue special, so I'll have to pick that up sometime.
Yeah, gotta complete the Metamorpho collection.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that one's pretty memorable.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, on my channel, already this past week I did a video that we alluded to earlier today about a bad experience I had with the Shop app and the Affirm company when buying a comic book. So that's already up on my channel if you want to watch. There's the back issue of the week YouTube short. That's on my channel. Right now it's a DC themed. A DC character gets a new costume in the current back issue of the week short. There hopefully will be a new back issue of the week short dropping tomorrow. It hasn't been filmed yet, so hopefully that will happen before tomorrow. Also, tomorrow night, I'm going to do a special comic book editions live on my channel. Comics for Thomas sent me an AOK, and he's going to join me, and we're going to unbox it together. And then I think there might be another comic book editions edited video on Tuesday, maybe. I'm about 75% sure that that's going to happen. So look for all of that in the very near future on my channel. Of course, you can subscribe to me as well as our other panelists. Links to their channels are in the description for this video. And I don't want to forget as well, we'd love to see what type of book show you have. So share a cover, anything you want. Maybe a Flash one since we did a Flash retro review, but share that on Instagram and use the very long hashtag Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. So you can share your stuff with us as well. That would be pretty cool to see. And for my book show, I decided to do a gift that I received. The Flash 100 Greatest Moments hardcover book.
Oh, nice.
Oh, they got it from Ollie's.
It came from Ollie's. Yeah, one of my friends went to I've never been to an Ollie's in my life. So one of my friends went to an Ollie's looking for some omnibuses for me and gifted me this. And there's the back cover if you want to check that out too. But inside here, I bookmarked it too. So I wanted to make sure to share that. In Flash's 100 Greatest Moments, moment number 25 is the story we read tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Iris.
Yeah. So that ranked at 25 in Flash's 100 Greatest Moments. So, yeah. So I thought that would be a fun book show.
Yeah, that's a nice little book show. Definitely, if you guys have an Ollie's near you, it's worth it to check it out.
I wish I did.
I've got 2.
I don't think I've been to one.
Luckily for me, they're headquartered probably about 4 miles from my house, so they're super close.
You just go over there and pick up those omnibuses at discount prices,
I can. The problem
is
they have these really cool comic book packs, but every time I go there, they're all ripped open.
Oh, yeah, because people cheated and looked.
People just take what they want out of them.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Glenn pointed out a good point, too. It's also the 75th Celebration Flash hardcover. So,
very cool. Yeah. Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's annoying, but I like to go by Ollie's and check out the stuff.
Yeah. I haven't seen any DC comic packs at Five Below since that last wave that we were talking about, like back in the fall.
Never got a single one.
Once they my store sold out of them, they didn't get any more back in. So I hope that that's something that they bring back at some point. So
I like that these different stores are testing the market for comic books.
I love that they're putting some convention exclusives and store exclusives in some of those. Cool. And you could get those books, for $1,
there was a time, and this was pre-COVID, and it was going to happen, but I think COVID kind of ruined that. GameStop was going to
that makes sense,
be a big comic book hub, because they already sell a lot of pop culture stuff too.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been a smart business decision. I mean, it wouldn't have been huge, but hey, they might have had some cool stuff.
Yeah. We have a Fanboys private chat, and I think it was in there. I sent Tony a picture of a Shazam Funko, and I said that you need to have that.
Yeah.
That I saw that at GameStop. That's where it was when I saw that at. So
yeah, Shazam doesn't get a whole lot of love. So anytime I see something cool like that, I always jump on it.
Yeah.
Except the Funkos. I really don't do Funkos.
That one was kind of cool though.
It was kind of neat. If I see one that I really like, I'll probably pick it. I might buy that one, but
yeah,
I don't do Funkos. Not like Comic Fu. I know he's a big Funko guy.
Yeah, I've got a few.
You one or two. Don't you have that big Funko cool case? The big display thing?
The Star Wars one?
I thought it was a cardboard display. I might be thinking.
Oh yeah. It's the Star Wars store display.
Oh,
nice.
What's the story behind that, real quick? Did you just say, "Yeah, this is mine"? I just taking it.
I found somebody on eBay selling one.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
So someone else stole it. And you just bought it.
I guess, yeah.
I love it.
That's too cool. Yeah, that's it.
Be careful. We'll call Lady Cop on you.
Lady Cop. Go. She'll come and talk to you about your VD. So.
Yeah. Jeez.
I'm sure you mean Valentine's Day.
Right.
Since that's coming up, so yeah. All right, well, that brings an end to the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Comic Fu 2014, you're picking the Retro Review for next week.
All right, I've already got it picked out.
Oh, I bet one of us is going to be unhappy about that.
We're very happy.
We're very happy.
I don't. I'm going to be sick next week.
There's no sick days.
Nope.
Okay. To you who joined us in the live chat, we appreciate you so much. If you watched on the rewind, of course, you're appreciated as well. Take care of yourself. Have a successful, healthy, and safe week, and we look forward to visiting with you next week. Until then, take care